Follow this. Okay. So I think there were a couple of errors. I think we got it now. Let's see. Okay, so it's collected 2 items and it ran, I think, fine, 2 passed, 1 warning. Okay. So okay, let me clean up this code here. All right, so what we did here is we are calling this function. Set. Okay. All right, so what we have here is it says 2 passed in those many number of seconds and all that. Is it recording right now? Yeah, it's recording. Okay, all right. So we have this add method, which takes 2 parameters and it returns the total of this. Okay. Now, what I did is I'm importing this PyTest framework, and I'm saying that I have 3 parameters here, number 1, number 2, and total. And for these 2 numbers, it has to be 8, and for these 2, it's 30, and all that. Okay. So I'm writing a single line of code, but I have a bunch of parameters, many parameters. Okay. So even though it looks like 1 test case, but you can see at the bottom, it says 2 passed. That means each of these parameters is going to be 1 test case. Okay. So it passed for this, it passed for that. That's why at the bottom, you're going to see it says 2 passed. Okay. So I'm going to add another one, which is maybe negative numbers. Okay. -1 and -1, and that should give me -2. Okay. And if I run this, it's going to say 3 passed. Okay. So there are 3 test cases and 3 of them passed and all that. Okay. So, so that's one of the advantage of using PyTest, that it will expand in the sense, yeah, I don't have to repeat the same code again and again. I just can parameterize. I can write the code once and just parameterize, and it's going to work fine. Okay. But if I have to do the same thing in the unit test framework, I have to do assert equals this, assert equals that, and all that. Okay. I have to repeat the same lines again. Okay. So that is PyTest. Any questions so far? So this syntax is called decorator. Okay. Yeah, anytime you see @ sign before the function definition, that is called a decorator. Okay. And this is a function that is taking some parameters. Okay. And this is the implementation of the function. Okay. The technical terms are also important because when you're talking with other people, they might say, hey, are you using this decorator? What are the parameters? This whole thing is called signature. Okay. This is a function signature. That means it's taking 2 parameters or 3 parameters. That is the signature of the function. And this is the implementation and so on. Okay. So just to recap, in this class, we looked at how to declare functions and how to declare classes and what are the different member methods and all that. Okay. And there's a unit test framework that comes for free with Python. Python has this inbuilt framework that works for most of the use cases. And you need to write a class. That class has to be derived from the test case. And anything that begins with test underscore is a test case automatically. Okay. And then you can write assert true, assert false. There are different type of asserts. Okay. So you can see there's a assert true, which we used. There's also assert false. Okay. There's also assert equal. Okay. So if I'm calling add with 20 and 30, that should be equal to 50. Okay. So you can also write that. Okay. There are different type of asserts. There is something called almost equal. Okay. You might be thinking, why do I need this almost equal? Okay. So let's say you are dividing 1 by 3. That should be almost equal to 0.333. Okay. Because 1 divided by 3, if you look at the actual implementation, that will be so many 3s. Okay. So you need something that says almost equal. Okay, so these two numbers, sorry, are almost equal. Okay, so in those kind of cases, you would use this almost equal. And then you have greater than or equal to, and is not, is none, less than or equal to, and all those. Okay, this list equal to, list equal will compare two lists and all that. Okay, not equals and those things. Okay, so one of the advantage of using PyCharm is that you don't have to remember the exact name of that. As soon as you type it, it kind of gives you a nice documentation. What are the methods involved, and you can scroll through that and all that. Okay. All right, guys. So it's getting close to 6 o'clock. Do you guys have any questions? I was planning to take for 1.5 hours. But if you have any questions, I can take now. But before you guys go, I have one small assignment for you guys. Maybe you can practice in your free time. Okay. So what I want you to do is to write a function. By the way, let me paste all this code in the chat so you guys can. Okay, so I'm going to save these files first. I'm going to do this demo unit test. Okay, so I attached it on the chat window. You can download that. Okay, I attached the second file and demo 2, which is the actual. Okay, all right. So you guys can download these files. Okay. Yeah. So coming back to the assignment, I want you to write a function that takes in a string and returns the length of the string. Okay. And then I want you to write test cases for that function. Okay. Using unit test, using any framework that you want. Okay. But I want you to write at least 5 test cases. Okay. Think of what are the things that you can test it. Okay. I don't want to say what test cases, but you should write at least 5 different test cases. Okay. All right. And then write a function that I'm just trying to see. Yeah, that same as above, that takes in a list of strings. Okay. And number 4, write test cases for function that takes a list. For function step 3. Okay. Step 1. Okay. So I want you to write at least 5 and 5 test cases. You can use unit test, PyTest, whatever you want. So I'm going to paste it here. All right, I pasted in the chat window. Any questions on this assignment or anything in general? All right, so once you do the assignment, you can paste, you can send it in WhatsApp, or you can send me an email. I'm also going to paste my email. Most of you will know my email, but for those who don't know. All right, so I pasted my email there. You can also WhatsApp me, anything is fine. But I want you to run the test case. I want you to send a picture at the bottom that says like the ran 3 test cases, everything worked fine and all that. Okay. So if I run the demo unit test, so at the bottom it shows like failed 1, but in your case it should be ran 7 tests, everything is okay and all that. Okay. Any questions?
I get.
Okay. All right, guys. All right. So if no questions, then probably we can end the session here. I'll keep you guys updated on the next session for the next, maybe next weekend.
Okay. Okay.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Take care. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.